I'm seeing red. The hunger for war is in my blood. Hunger is war with my lungs. You can see it in my eyes. I am the phoenix about to rise. I'm seeing red. Do I die alive or dead? Hear the voice inside my head telling me this is not the end. I'm seeing red. Do I die alive or dead? Hear the voice inside my head telling me this is not the end. I'm seeing. I'm seeing. One man army under the gun. Locked and loaded. Here I come. Laying on your back. Always at the ready to attack. I'm seeing red. Do I die alive or dead? Hear the voice inside my head telling me this is not the end. I'm seeing red. Do I die alive or dead? Hear the voice inside my head telling me this is not the end. I'm seeing. I'm seeing. I'm seeing I'm seeing red. Do I die alive or dead? Hear the voice inside my head telling me this is not the end. I'm seeing red. Do I die alive or dead? Hear the voice inside my head telling me this is not the end. I'm seeing. I'm seeing. I'm seeing red. I'm seeing red. I'm seeing red.
We should explore a few solutions, Gromit.
Having some technical difficulties there, Carl.
I know. I had to wait. It wouldn't shut off. I was like, crap.
Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to start this one weird.
Okay.
I'm going to start with a gun fail. And it's not a video.
Uh-oh. What'd you do?
This is from a while back. But hopefully I can get people to learn from my mistakes when they get a custom manufactured firearm. What does that look like it's missing there, Carl?
Well, where's your ridges? Around the bottom, for starters.
So, this is a 9mm.
Yeah.
This is 45 ACP. What is missing from the 45?
Well, yeah, the shell casing. But why is there a big indention in it?
Well, we're going to get into that.
Oh,
So,
did it have a shell casing?
yes, it did.
Oh shit!
If you'll look closely, I'm trying to get it to focus. Come on, focus just a little bit, you little twat. There it goes. Nice big dent and scratch all along the side, right?
Yeah.
You think normal people can go and find their spent lead? Nope. So I have a custom AR, and I wanted one in 45 ACP, not 9 mil. Parts don't exist for a 45 ACP, or at that time they didn't.
Right.
So my gunsmith was more than willing to accommodate me. However, the upper receiver was milled from a 5.56. This is 6.5 Creedmoor, just a little bigger than 5.56,
Right.
not much. But compared to 45 ACP, there's quite a difference in length there.
Yeah.
So I was in bed one night and I wanted to get familiar with my gun. Trying to unload around, I always keep around in the chamber of my guns. So I was trying to do the right thing and clear it. Well, unfortunately, because I was trying to eject that brass calmly, it locked into the upper receiver.
Uh-huh.
Because of this, I couldn't remove the round. And instead of being smart and locking the bolt to the rear so it couldn't send forward, I kept trying, because if I tried to lock it, it would start trying to seize up again. So I'm fighting with it. It's about 20 minutes. I'm like, I gotta take a break. So I tried to gently rest that bolt on the brass. What you can't see when it's seized up like that is what part is touching the primer.
Right.
So in the middle of my bed, thankfully everything stayed internal. There was no brass flying everywhere. I got no injuries. But unfortunately, I did have a live round go off in my firearm. You know, this was about a year ago now.
Oh, before I got there.
Yep, before you got here. So yes, even people that know what they are doing still fuck up. Yes, I know, there's my one. And it's worth it. Education needs to continue to grow and improve constantly. The right thing would have been lock the bolt to the rear, take my break, get back at it, and then try and, because I didn't want this thing anywhere near my face. So I'm not trying to look down, just come on out. Like one of the biggest, don't put your face near a live round. So I avoided it like the plague. What I should have done, what I should have is a barrel snake. Camera, let me see, get in there safely, not have to worry about something going off in my face. But I don't have the money for one, nor did I have the money at that time. So knowing there's not really a place I could have done this better. It's not like I live on 4 acres and can go out to a workshop and do this easily. But knowing now what I should have or wanted to know then, I should have just let that round eject as it wanted to and tried to find it later.
Right.
So when y'all see me eject most of my shotgun rounds, I just force a habit now. Every round I eject, let it fly. I'm not slowing it, I'm not stopping it, because then you actually caused the problem. You can cause stovepiping, you can cause a misfeed, you can cause a double feed. Or if your upper receiver is for a 5.56 milled up to the diameter of a 45 ACP, probably should have taken that length difference into account when trying to eject the brass. So, no injuries happened. Tore the gun apart, cleaned it up, no damages, surprisingly.
So does anything need to be repaired on that gun? So
No,
that okay.
tore the whole thing apart after it happened. Broke it open, pulled what I could pull without tools. Little bit of carbon buildup.
Now did it go through the floor and through the ceiling downstairs?
Everything was internal. Everything was internal.
Ugh. And what time of the night was this?
About 8 o'clock.
Was your roommate home?
He was.
Oh shit.
And he didn't register it.
Really?
Really. I went down. I asked him, hey, man, you hear anything? No, it sounds like you fell. Yep, that's what happened. I
Oh
definitely
shit.
fell. I fell.
Yeah, good thing you didn't shoot yourself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was handling it as safely as I could. Barrel pointed in a safe direction. I knew there was a fault. I don't want it with a full metal jacket, mind you. Took that into account as well. Not pointing it at a wall, pointing it down. I know where the living room is in relationship to my room. It's over that way. My bed is over that way. So straight down into the mattress is the best bet. That mattress, hopefully it slows it down. The floor will slow it down more and it'll stop somewhere where it stops.
Uh-huh.
Every last bit of it. I found all the brass. I found the round. All of it came out of the gun itself.
Well, that's what we learn. And we have to keep learning and pay attention. We got to teach people.
And the point I'm trying to make with this is it doesn't matter how much you know, how well you think you can handle guns. Yeah, you hear us call them toys on the show all the time, and they are. And I've since learned that gun very well. Very well. I know what I can and cannot do. I know how to handle an issue with this again. But something can always go wrong.
Yep.
We talk about squib rounds on the show, which is just an underloaded round. So it seizes in the barrel of your firearm itself, and people like to try and continue shooting through it. I have seen multiple photos of revolvers, 5 and 6 shot revolvers with 7, 8, 12 rounds lodged in the barrel, which means somebody stopped to reload and continued pulling the trigger. If something goes wrong, stop and investigate. It's one of the reasons why I tell, and a lot of people tell you, carry a sidearm, have a pistol. If you're in a fight, you can still continue. You stop and try and resolve the issue with your rifle right there. It's not the best time to handle that.
No.
But that's more for a combat situation. If you're out in the field, you can potentially deal with it. But and we've talked about this on the show before, how much dirt and debris is getting inside that gun now. You don't have the cleanest environment to work with. Did you bring a blanket or a tarp or something for you to work somewhat sanitary?
Right.
So learn anytime you get a new gun, and this is what I was trying to do. I was just trying to figure out a new gun. That's it. And one of the worst
Best
possible
place
things
to do
happened.
it while you're laying in bed.
I wasn't laying there, I was sitting there.
Well, still.
Yeah, but I'm not doing it next to my $2,000 computer.
Right.
And if I go that way to the guest room, that puts me even closer to the living room area and my roommate's room and my roommate's computer.
Uh-huh.
The best option I had was to figure this out. Now, another lesson learned from this is figure it out before you load it.
Yeah.
I got it. It was meant for a house sweeping gun, loaded it up, kept it by the bed. Had it for a couple months, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be a hypocrite on the show. I need to sit here and figure this out. Let me work with it a little bit. Let me lay it out. See what's different compared to a normal AR.
Right.
For something like 5.56 at 308, what's different? How much is different? Not much, by the way. But knowing your gun has been modified legally, mind you, legally modified to handle a different round or a different caliber, take into considerations what's different between that caliber and the one that you're using now.
Right.
It can, it would have been probably a better fit to mill something up from 9 mil, but then you're thinning the metal out. If he would have milled it out of a 9 mil, odds are it would have been much more catastrophic.
Okay.
Thinner metal, fatter round. 5.56, 45 ACP, not much difference in powder. Different round, fatter round versus skinny round,
Right.
but not much difference in the powder itself. So this is one of those cases where I got extremely lucky handling a firearm. And thinking back, there wasn't really a safer way to handle it, but this should have been done before it got loaded.
Right.
Yummy. So anytime y'all pick up a new gun, anytime you go over to a friend's house and they want to hand you something, have them, if it's loaded, hey man, can you go ahead and unload this for me real quick? Well, you can unload it. Yeah, but you know this gun. You know what it's going to do, what it's not going to do. Put it on them. Let the person with more experience handle it. And if you fail to learn from your experiences, those who fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Yep.
So, and I've been pushing that with Joe Biden coming into office, that old senile.
I know.
pedophile.
It's ridiculous. Hopefully we get through this year and next year starts out better.
And Chad brings up a good point. That's usually why game wardens tell you to unload the gun.
Yep.
You know it. You have familiarized yourself with this firearm.
Yep.
You should be able to safely handle it. If you go to your friend's house, you want to see what they have. Hey, I don't know this one. Can you go ahead and get this situated for me? Show me how to clear it? Yeah, I can do that real quick. And most people that are gun owners should do the right thing and show you.
Right.
If you ask questions, we'll figure it out on your own. Because that's a lot of what I've had to go through is figure it out on your own. All right, let me go to YouTube. Let me go to Google. Let me sit down here my FNX 45, I sat down with for about an hour and just had my phone to the side and said, all right, I'm going to figure this out before I put any round in this. I want to see how I can field strip this. Okay, that's pretty easy. Put it back together. Let me do it again. Oh, all right, I can do it quicker now. Now I can usually do it in about 6 seconds. It's not a hard gun to field strip. Really
Right.
not. But getting that comfortable level, that competency with what you own should always, just because you have something similar does not mean they are the same thing. They may have a similar frame, a similar look, but if things got changed to it, don't just go in thinking it's going to be the same process as your other ones.
No.
It the smallest thing can throw every bit of your knowledge off. And that could be, you could be lucky like me, where you come out unscathed, your room smells like your favorite smell for about an hour, and then you go on with life. That was probably the best part about it, by the way, having gunpowder in my room.
Smell of it.
Oh yeah. Oh
Well,
yeah. I sat there huffing by that spot for about an hour. I may have screwed up, but it smells so good. Any modification, even if you add a new component, how does it feel in my hands? What's changed? Well, visually, this has changed. Well, did I put something back wrong? Because I'll be the first to admit it. When I changed out grips to my ARs, I've changed out 3 grips. I have destroyed 2 springs for my safeties because I put it in the wrong hole. So now I keep extra springs in my house because I know I'm going to do it again. I don't change my grips all the time. I haven't bought a new gun in like a year and a half. More than that. Shit, like 2 years. Ugh. Ugh.
long time, isn't it?
It's been a minute. No wonder I'm getting itchy. But keeping that, and I wish I had more time in my life to sit in a bigger area to set everything up, because Carl knows how much room I would need to do this.
Oh,
But
God.
I would like to sit down, pull everything out, lay it all out, empty it all. All right, I still remember how to clear and check my gun safe. Good. Let's field strip them one by one by one and clean every single one of them. That way I can stay more on top. And I get right now, ammo prices are unreasonable. The Second Amendment's under attack left and right. Joe Biden just called out AR owners again.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not trying to. One of the problems is with manufacturing, the quality's gone out the window. So there's a bunch of squib rounds now. Why the IRS just hired 87,000 employees and $700,000 worth of ammunition? Huh. We'll figure that out the fun way. I mean, hard way. Excuse me. Sinuses today. But I get not trying to waste the ammo for different things like that. I get trying to keep what you have available. You know it's good ammo. You know it's available. Okay. But there are still things we can do unless you just have a great job and can afford to buy the ammo, which this is read between the lines if you can do that right now.
Right.
If you can continue to keep your proficiencies at the ranges and training and everything like that, do it. If you can't, there are still ways to keep on top of certain knowledge. You can still continue to sweep your house. You can field strip the firearm. Hell, you could sit, if you've got one gun, you could field strip it every day. By the time you're done in a month, you should be able to sit here and completely, I mean, rip every single spring, screw, the trigger. You should be able to take the entire thing apart and put it back together with enough dedicated time. And you'll know more about gun manufacturing than I will at that point in time. I want to get my license after I finish with the VA. Yay, VA. But That's a future me problem. There are other things that you can continue to do. And I mean, I change out what gun I keep in my room constantly. I don't want the same thing. Okay, I've sat here with this one, worked with it a little bit, looked at it, reloaded it, unloaded it, opened it up, tore it apart, put it back together, usually about once every 3 months. I'll get bored, I'll get an itch. All right. Click, 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 click. Okay. Throw it back together. Let's go get another one. Bring that one up, put this one back. It sits in the room for security. A couple months go by. Get that funny itch again. Click, 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 click. Okay. Let's get another one. So there are ways to continue to, I don't want to say increase your knowledge, but definitely maintain what proficiencies you have. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to bring up with it, explaining my own personal gun fail. Because it's not fun to tell. I don't tell a lot of people. I'd rather not. It's embarrassing to me. I should have known. I should have done something. There's so many other things that what could I have done? What could have gone better? What what if? What if? What if? It's a regret at this point in time. There's nothing I can do about it. It happened. It's over with. Live and learn. But if I can continue to spread my knowledge and show you the hard way, maybe I can save you from destroying a really nice gun or injuring yourself or somebody you love.
That's right.
So we like to talk about the news and we like to talk about what's going on and how they're attacking the Second Amendment, how they're coming after us, how they're coming after our guns, how they're coming after patriots, veterans. But the biggest thing we're here for is we want education. This whole show, and I hate, absolutely despise sitting here at the beginning of the show before y'all are even ready to go and having to find articles. Okay, well, what do we want to talk about? Oh, well, this happened. Joe Biden says you need an F-15. Well, that's not true because the Taliban's been fighting us with AK-47s for, the past decade. Really? We've got F-15s. We dropped the Moab on them. And they still continued.
Right.
Not only that, these other people that are like, they're coming to take your guns. They're going to bomb you. Bitch, you're my neighbor. If they bomb me, they bombed you.
Right.
What's so hard to understand about that? Well, they'll get your guns first. Yeah, and they're going to be hot the whole way there.
Yep.
But it's not meant to be conspiracy theory based. It's not meant to be rooted in hatred against the guy. You can love your country and hate your government. You can completely do that. And it seems we put off that vibe every single week. Why? I don't want that. I want interaction. I want you. Well, what questions do y'all have? What could you have done with the gun to make sure it was safer? What gun would you recommend? Would you recommend I go and get a specialty item for my first gun? Are there any personal or are there any gun fails you've personally witnessed? Because yes, I've witnessed quite a few. Not just the videos. Not just the videos. I've had my own. I've seen my mom. God, my mom is scary with a gun. Holy crap. And it's not, oh, she's a good shot. No, she sucks with guns. Terrible. It's unloaded. It doesn't mean you can point it at people.
Right.
We went to Academy a month ago. And my dad was looking for a new gun. He wants a revolver. So I went in early, tried to find something for him, something he might like. I found one that was kind of close. I didn't like it. I was like, you're probably not going to like any of these. So he's looking at it. He's kind of okay handling guns in public. Okay. Knows enough to not look like a jackass. My mom, on the other hand, hell no. She gets, dad hands her the gun. The proper thing for untrained people, on the glass, pick up, or on the table, whatever. Next person picks it up. I know enough. I'm going to hand it over in a safe manner. My mom and dad do not. So they're handing this thing over, and the first thing she does is turn back to the guy helping us and starts to raise it up. I leaned forward, put my hand on the gun, and said, "Nope, let's go ahead and lower that right back down." Well, why, Mom? Do you not remember the rules of handling a firearm or any? And I looked at the guy that was helping us. He, like, really easy to tell he was saying thank you. Got it down. Then she turns and points it at my dad, and I'm just, you know what, Mom? Why don't you just give me that? Well, it's not loaded. That's not the point. Treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Never point a weapon at anything you don't intend to shoot.
Yep.
You broke two of the first cardinal rules of firearm safety in 30 seconds. That scares the shit out of me. That there are people out here that want to handle a gun and have and I keep telling, I'm by no means, I'm not an expert. I always put that disclaimer out there. But I have enough to get by. And I want to help other people. And y'all might have questions. Hell, the first few shows we had, we got questions. If I didn't know it, I would do research for hours, 5-6 hours going into it, tearing things apart, trying to figure stuff out. So that way, when we came back the following week, we had a whole discussion on whatever somebody asked the previous week.
Right.
So I'm trying to get y'all back in the mindset of this is not a show where y'all can sit back and watch the angry redneck blood pressure go through the roof. That's not fun for me. Yeah, I get it can be funny for some of y'all. But I want to help people. I like teaching for a living, surprisingly. When certain people, when you disrespect me, I've got a problem. But I want to get all of y'all back to a point where it's, even if you think it's a stupid question, it's not.
Nope.
When it comes to owning guns or dealing with a firearm, there's no such thing as a stupid. People always say there are 100% stupid questions. There are always stupid questions. But when a new person picks up a gun, yeah, this professional shooter over here might think that's a stupid question. But how long has he been dealing with guns? And how long has he been dealing with safety? Long time. Get out of the mindset that you know better and try and bestow that knowledge on other. Yeah, I know better, but can I help them know better? Can I get them to this point? I didn't learn about gun safety. My brother handed me a gun when I was 16, give or take. He had a 1911 double stack. He has a pretty nice 1911. I can't really remember the whole specs about it. It's not my gun. I don't give a shit. But he handed it to me, and I went to a Christian camp, of all places, back in middle school, and they allowed skeet shooting. And basic safety with that. They gave us the rules, told us keep it pointed that way. Keep your finger off the trigger till you're ready to shoot. Keep your gun on safe till you're ready to shoot. I didn't know they were the rules back then. I didn't know they were the best rules for gun safety when I was 12 years old. It was a 20 gauge. But it was enough to where I was like, these are probably really good for me to remember. And as I got older and older, I'm like, oh, okay. So there are rules for gun safety. And I did my own research because my dad's a huge pacifist, massive pacifist. And I don't know if it's actually that he's a pacifist. It goes back to that gardener in a war, warrior in the garden quote we've talked about multiple times. I don't think he's really a pacifist. I think he's really more harmless at this point in time. Because even when we were growing up, when I got to be about 16 years old, I was too big for my dad to whoop my ass anymore. So he had my brother do it. My brother's pacifist, but he still owns guns. He's peaceful, not harmless, I promise. He's already threatened me multiple times to shoot me if I ever do something. I'm your brother. Well, if you do anything, why would I do anything? I'm just saying. Why? What's the point? So that was his way of complimenting me for being a big animal. But I try and constantly work with him. I mean, hell, we went to the range a while back, and I pulled everything out. Everything. My brother comes over and he's looking like, okay, you've got an addiction, but I like it. My dad, his eyes blew out of his head. Why? Because I can, and this is America. What's wrong with you? I don't know, but we're not going to figure it out anytime soon.
Right.
Pick. He looks at me. What do you mean pick? Pick. Pick something. Pick anything. Something, just pick it up. No, I'm going to stick with. Do you want to take something different to the range? You don't like your Glock. I know you don't like your Glock. I've got options. Don't want a Glock? I've got a rifle. I've got a shotgun. I've got multiples of all of this. I've got a bolt action if you want to take it. And he is so set in his own ways. I was trying to do a nice way of saying, let's sit for an hour so I can teach you gun safety.
Right.
Well, I know the rules. That's fine if you know the rules. But knowing and abiding by the rules are two completely different things. Just because you know something doesn't mean you can actually do it. I know the basics of playing a bass guitar. Does that mean I can play a bass guitar? Hell no. But I know the basics of a firearm, and I know how to safely handle them. And I know I'm a damn good shot with pistols, shotguns, and rifles. Basic rifles. Can't sight them in for shit, but if it's sighted in, I know exactly what I need to do with it. So I'm trying to find, me and my father never got along through high school. Kids, yeah, you look up to dad. Daddy, yeah. High school, I was a little shithead. We still don't see eye to eye. I'm definitely the black sheep in the family, and we've learned small doses. We can handle each other in small doses. And this was a way for us to bond over something that I am very passionate about and show him I'm knowledgeable on this, not just some maniac with a shit ton of guns. But they scare him. Guns scare a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get over that fear until you go and confront it. So if y'all don't ask the questions, if you just sit here the whole show and watch, he's like, oh, he likes to talk. Yes, I do. I do like to talk. I get paid to talk for a living. I get paid to yell at people for a living. I don't want to yell all day long when I'm not getting paid. But I want to talk to all of you about whatever you want to talk about. Whatever I can help you with. And if you're too nervous to, we post the Discord all the time. We post the Discord for free stupidity. You can get a hold of us. You can get a hold of me through the Facebook Messenger on Bill of Rights.
Right.
I've got access to that. There's plenty of way. I am not hard to get a hold of. I'm not. Might take me a minute to respond, but if you put my name somewhere, I'll find it. And I want to sit and talk with people about something that I feel very powerful about and want to make sure people understand, one, the importance of gun safety, but two, the importance of owning firearms and the importance of training with these firearms. It does you absolutely no good to go out, buy a gun, and have it sit. And I am a massive hypocrite about that. I have 3 or 4 guns that I own that I have yet to shoot because I can't get a hold of ammo right now, but still, I'd love to go take them shooting, and I can't. But it does you no good to buy something and just put it in a box, and lock it away, and hide it.
Nope.
Even taking it to paper targets does something for you. Clearing your house does something for you. But if you don't ask questions, if you don't interact and engage, and if you don't show your friends that might worry you a little bit when it comes to them handling a gun, the whole reason I started this show like I did is to show you. If you've got some person that might worry you a little bit with guns, hide. Come from personal experience. Guns will kill you very quickly.
Yes, they will.
It's that round going off. It's everything stops. No hearing protection, sitting there, not expecting the gun to go off. Everything stops. It's cool. It is a very, and I know some veterans are gonna. It's terrifying.
Oh yeah, we love America on this channel. This is the Bill of Rights Network.
But if you don't engage, you don't interact, or you don't share this to your friends, that might make you a little nervous with a gun. What good is me doing this show really giving anybody? We've got a couple loyal viewers. We got 6 people watching right now.
Right.
I thought after doing this for as long as me and Carl have been, we'd be double digits regularly. And I'm trying to calm myself down. I'm trying to watch my language more. And I'm trying to get y'all to engage constantly.
And share
Because
it
this show depends on you, the viewer, for this information. Right, Paint 2D shooting guns is a great sport. And shooting them since you were 14, perfect. But I got a question for you. I don't recognize your name in the show, so I've got a question for you. So, do you have or know anybody that if you were to put a firearm in their hands, they would make you a little nervous with how unsafe they would be? Same for you, CV and KA. You know anybody that if you put a gun in their hand right now, you might be like, maybe you need a little. Exactly. And that's the point of this show. I want to get people to understand why you need to handle guns the way you handle them. Shooting since you were 14, I'm going to assume you're older than 14 now. So for at least a few years, you get more familiarized. You get more comfortable. You get that sense of competency behind everything. And not everybody has that. I do agree. People need to learn early, but that wasn't an option for a lot of people. So, and now we sit at a point where the older generations, and I'm not talking about 50, 60, 70, 20, 30 years old. They're nervous. I understand anxiety. I've been diagnosed with anxiety. I get it. You can be afraid to ask a question. You will not receive judgment from me or Carl here.
No.
We're here to help you better yourselves in a manner that is hopefully respectful enough for you and in a way that you can understand it and grasp the concepts. Because even if I have to and go and grab a gun that you're thinking of, okay, I've been thinking about getting a pistol. I can CVNK, we're about the Second Amendment rights, laws, regulations, and mainly training people to be safer with firearms. The whole reason I created this show was because, one, I hate the excuse I feared for my life from cops. And two, I have seen and experienced and been a part of enough problems with people handling guns that don't get me wrong, there's a lot of gun channels out there where they blow stuff up and they shoot a bunch of shit. And I wish I could do that. I really wish I could do that. But I would rather help people that are new to owning firearms and new to really any kind of a projectile weapon. Because if it may not be you're looking for guns. Carl here's proficient with crossbows.
Right.
He loves crossbows. I like the things that go boom boom.
Well, I do too, but I've shot guns since I was 5 years old. So for 57 years, I've shot multiple guns. But like you were talking, Cameron, about people need to learn about guns. Look at how many people join the military that have never, ever picked up a gun in their life.
God. That's probably where my paranoia with people handling guns started. And I went into the Navy, a branch that is not known for utilizing guns very often. I was on submarines of all things. Little ironic, isn't it? You were a mechanic on subs and you like gun? What? I tried to be a CB. I did, but they were full at the time. So a little backstory for the new people here. Yes, I'm a Navy veteran. Carl over here is an Army veteran back when M16 was made by Mattel, a toy company.
Yeah, I had one.
Yep. I ended up getting a phone call.
Oh, you got a phone call?
Doing the show. Send me a text message. Yeah, Navy definitely has more boom boom than pew pew. But through boot camp was a joke to me. I worked out when I was going into I've always been a big guy. I've always been a heavy set guy. High school is 290 pounds, 280 right now. Still not as bad. I'd like to lose some weight. I dropped 40 pounds in 2 months to join the Navy. I was working out 6 to 8 hours a day just to join the military. My parents were supporting me and everything, so I wasn't worried about money and food and all this stuff. They provided me what I needed. I had a job, kind of, but 2 months before the Navy, I said, you know what? Here's my 2 weeks notice. I got to get ready. Boot camp, they give you a laser gun. It's a Beretta M9, I want to say it was, pistol. Has a laser barrel attachment with hooked up to an air compressor to simulate recoil. You can't get in it and you can't tell where you're hitting. You just pull the trigger and pray it's on target. So you can't compensate for, okay, well, I'm pushing and pulling. What am I doing wrong? But I passed in boot camp, and then I got to my first command, and they gave me a real gun. And I went from passing to, how the hell are you an expert with a pistol? I'm good with guns. Well, how are you good with guns? I don't know. What state are you from? Texas. That explains it. Not really. I've only ever really played with shotguns a lot. I played with pistols with my brother a little bit. But the people that I saw in boot camp utilizing these air guns like toys, not tree. Yeah, it's a fake gun, but you're going for an actual ribbon for the military for marksmanship with the pistol. You should probably take it a little more seriously. Then we get to the actual guns and seeing how many people don't know how to reload a pistol or reload an M16. I never touched an AR, M16, M4, anything before the Navy. They handed me an M4A1. I passed with rifle. I didn't get expert. I got expert on the shotgun, but I didn't get expert on the rifle. And then they said field strip it. Okay. What do you mean, okay? We're going to show you how to do it. No, you're not. How'd you do that? I'm good with my hands. Have you ever played with a gun with before a rifle before? No. Can you do that again? Yeah. Let me put this one back together. Here you go. Give me another one. Are you sure you're supposed to be a mechanic? Yeah. You should have been this or this or this. I'm like, this is what they had open for me. So I chose my rate, I chose my fate. But I've always had some kind of a weird knack with guns. And not everybody has that kind of a sensation where they can pick it up and it feels natural to them. So, and it's not something that you can just teach, but you can teach people to be more safe, more comfortable. You can teach out that fear. What annoys me probably the most with how many people are coming after the AR-15, you can put up a bunch of photos of different guns. Pistols, shotguns, bolt action. Hell, one of the photos that I seen had a paintball gun on it. And they said, okay, point at the AR, point at the one, and they pointed at the paintball gun. So you know nothing about the thing you're trying to ban. Why? If you had knowledge, if you had proper training, education, I'm either going to teach that fear out of you, or I'm going to give you fuel for your argument so you can validly make your argument. When you come unprepared and you start trying to have a discussion, well, we need to ban scary ARs. They're military. No, they're not. The original AR was manufactured and created for hunters.
Right.
That's it. That's all they were created for. They were never a weapon of war. Well, this gun is more of a family-friendly gun, and they bring out the M1 Garand, one of the most lethal guns we have had in history.
It's killed more people than any other gun in history.
This is a better hunting gun. You're right. For hunting communists.
Yeah.
That's what that gun was designed for. 8 rounds of 30-06. That screams freedom for some people, especially that ping. And they can't make their argument in an intellectual manner, so they start cussing at you and yelling at you and belittling and berating you, saying you don't know what you're talking about. Guns are weapons of war. Ban all guns. Like, do we need to go over Stalin or Hitler or Mao Zedong? You know, history's not linear. It's cyclical. It does repeat. Every time a government has banned and confiscated guns, what's happened? America's government's not going to do that. I'm sorry you're red, white, and blue bleeding for the government. I'm red, white, and blue bleeding for the Second Amendment and the Constitution and my country. You can 100% hate your government and still love your country. I promise.
Oh, yeah.
It's not hard to do. So the whole, and I know this is a little off what we normally have done, but normal isn't normal for me. This show is not meant for stories and articles and me and Carl sitting here going back and forth. This show is meant for y'all and your friends and your family. I get into articles, I get heated, I get frustrated, my language degrades. You
And
ask
just
questions.
remember, folks, if you have a question and we've got to look it up, that's no problem. We can look it up while we're doing this show. You know, we've done that before. People have asked about different shotguns. We've looked them up and showed them on here so they would know.
Hell, I brought up Keltec firearms. Keltec is by far one of the most disgusting gun manufacturers out there.
Mm-hmm.
I got in a conversation with a licensed RSO, range safety officer, at my work. Guy goes and plays video games for a living. Technically, he operates a D-sub, deep sea submarine, meant for pipe fitting and different things like that. One of my dream guns used to be the Chris Vector. Love how it looks. 45 ACP. Know I'm comfortable with that caliber. Great. Want the gun. Loved it. Got in conversations with him. Chris Vectors are notorious for jamming because the rear receiver is curved. That gun will jam all the time.
Oh, shit.
And I didn't know that. But you know what I did? I asked questions. I sat and had a conversation with somebody that knew better than me. Hopefully made a buddy out of it. Keep in touch now and again. He's showed me his collection. I've shown him mine. Dude's got a nice collection. No, you can't see it. I'm not going to put his information out there for him. But that's what you do. You find somebody that might know a little more than you. Might. I'm not saying I do. And you start building a relationship. And if you know more than I do, by all means, please be a guest. Put your information out for people. Put what you know, your personal experiences, your personal fails, different things that you've seen and done and witnessed. Scary thing. The best way to learn is by failure and struggle. If you're not struggling, you're not learning. But hopefully we can help with that struggle. So sitting there in silence and okay, well, he's making a lot of valid points. We can see every comment y'all post.
Mm-hmm.
And look at, what was it, Carl? 2 weeks ago, we had questions left and right. We went for like two and a half hours on this show because y'all kept asking these questions.
If you're looking to purchase a weapon and you want more information, ask it in the comments. Cameron knows a lot about weapons. If you don't know that weapon, you know what? It's easy to open another tab up and look it up and check out reviews and find out more what they're saying about it.
Yeah.
We can always do that.
We've done it before. Hell, we did it for a guy that was looking for a new shotgun.
Yeah, in California.
Yeah.
Had never owned a weapon before.
Never owned a gun. Didn't know what he wanted and wanted to use rock salt.
Yeah. He was looking for
sat there
protection.
The whole show, and we sat there and worked with one person, trying to get their knowledge improved, get them more comfortable, find them something legal for their state, comfortable for their home, and actually going to be useful for them. So I don't want to continue sitting here and going over articles and topics, and Joe Biden said this and Nancy Pelosi said that, and Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Let's talk shop. Let's talk stuff that's actually fun and not going to piss everybody off or depress everybody. Let's educate everyone we can. And I promise, as soon as I have a range of it readily available, we'll be doing the shows from a range so we can sit here, watch the comments, talk about a gun we're going to be using for the day, different benefits, pros, cons, what's right with it, what's wrong with it, what I like, what you may like, what you may not like, what I don't like. Talk shop. Not every single gun is the exact same. Lessons learned the hard way are lessons that stick. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully next week y'all come with that mindset, ready to ask questions, ready to have discussions and conversations. If you get into it enough, we may give you the link to come into the show and ask it in front of everybody. Because what you don't know, they may be able to answer. What you don't know, they may not know. And that benefits however many people we can help benefit. So please come more prepared to engage and converse, and actually don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to have a discussion. Don't be afraid to post your comments. If we see toxicity happening to you, we'll squash it. I love getting trolls in the comments because I deal with them all day long. But if we feel like somebody's harassing you, Chad loves to go into Twitch just to make sure he harasses those people back. He's really good about that.
Oh yeah.
There are things in place for y'all's benefit, so you should not know it's not a safe space. This is a space for you to learn.
You got to answer this because I know your reply. Wait a second. Where'd it go? Wrong one. There you go.
I've seen it.
It's not a silencer.
It's not. Oh, God bless America, Chad. You know I hate this question. You know I hate the terminology. There's no such thing as a silencer. It's only suppressors. The fact that silencer coexist is a testament to my hate of this. The only gun that is actually silenced is anything below a 22 LR. And even still, you can still hear the trigger pull. There's no such thing as a silent gun currently. Yes, they are constantly making improvements. They do have an electromagnetic gun that fires little silver discs. However, for black powder, gunpowder guns, there's no such thing as a silencer. It is all suppressors. And they are extremely beneficial. The fact that suppressors are regulated and banned is bullshit. They only ban them because the government doesn't want you using them against them. One, it makes your location harder to detect. They do reduce muzzle flash slightly, and they can give you, depending on the model make, how reliable it is, it can actually increase the accuracy and range of the firearm itself. There is a formula to calculate how long past that point it's going to actually damage your accuracy, but certain suppressors are actually meant to help your accuracy as well. Suppressors are great for regular run-of-the-mill Second Amendment loving people because they reduce the decibel levels below a point where you are required to have hearing protection, which is perfect for hunters. It's great for people going out in the woods that want to hear twigs snap, bushes rustle, different things like that. You have less risk of damage to your eardrums. But that's where you also go back. The government doesn't want you having them because that also means if somebody's trespassing on your property and you've got a suppressor and they've got to have hearing protection on, flooding into your house, you can hear them coming in. They can't hear you.
Right.
But that's a whole nother rabbit hole for suppressors and government conspiracy theories and different things like that. But y'all, please come back next week. I look forward to seeing y'all. I really want to get back into a mindset where this show is more enjoyable for myself and Carl, where you are engaging and you are trying to help yourself and others and learning in the process. I don't like articles. I don't. So hopefully next week we see some changes and we can get back to what the show is meant to be. We look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. Yes, we will have an actual gun fail video instead of just a hard lesson learned. But we'll see you next time. As always, I'm Cameron.
And I'm Carl.
And this has been the Second Amendment Ranch. Y'all stay up on your education.